Hello friends, welcome back. So in today's session we will see identifiers, variables and constants. So let's get started with that one. So what is identifier? If we say suppose any any element that we define inside Java program, suppose this class name variable demo, this is a class name, this is an identifier. That identifier is identifying the class. This max length is also an identifier, that is identifying the variable, and this get max length is also an identifier, that is identifying the method. So this is called identifier. Identifiers are the names of program that are used to identify the program elements uniquely, such as class name, interface name, enum name, annotation name, constructor, method, variable, anything anything that you write, any valid member inside a class, enum, annotation, or anything, any valid statement that you can write inside constructor, method or variable, or all that you have to give, for all that you have to give a name. That name is called identifier, that is identifying the element of a program. So, and while defining identifiers we have to keep in mind some rules. Suppose any keyword, if any keyword is already there, that keyword we cannot use as the identifier of a element. suppose in this one, this static is a keyword, byte is another keyword, private is keyword, class is keyword. So these words you cannot use as identifier. Suppose if I will give here class, you cannot use here, because compiler will give error here itself. See, syntax error on token class, invalid variable declarator id. So we can say that identifiers are the name of element that identify the element uniquely. So, and this is the first rule that any keyword cannot be used as the identifier. And identifier must be start with alphabet or dollar symbol or with underscore. It must be start, it cannot be start with any digits like 1 2 3 4 like that, or any other special symbol like hash, @ and star, like that. It cannot start with that one. It must be start with an alphabet. Or dollar symbol or underscore. Identifier can contain alphabets, numbers, dollar, underscore, or any other combination of that one. It must be start with alphabet, and after starting alphabet it can have any combination, like it can have a number, it can have alphabet, it can have a dollar, it can have underscore. So this is the rules that we should keep in mind while giving the name for element. Naming convention also is suggested by Oracle. Some naming convention is suggested by Oracle. Suppose, so far we have created so many classes like student, entity, anything. We have written the name in this way. This is the first word, this is one word. See, in here the class name is made from the combination of two word is there. One word is variable, another one is a demo. If your class is containing more than one word as a name, then first character of each word should be in uppercase. should be in uppercase. This is one recommendation for class. Should start with uppercase letter. Yes, it must be start, not it must be, it should be start. It's not like that you cannot give a small v, you can give that also. It's not recommended way. You have to uniquely identify what is the class. Suppose naming convention, why it is required? By seeing that element you can tell whether that is a constructor, whether that is a class, whether that is a variable, whether that is a static variable, whether that is a final variable, or whether that is a getter, method, setter. So they have given some standards. If you follow that standard, then you can easily identify the element. So that's why naming convention is very important. So this is the naming convention. Class name should be start with uppercase. Class name should be start with uppercase, and if more than one word is containing into your class name, then first character of each word should be in uppercase. Should be a noun. Yeah, that is also one recommendation. It should be noun. Like color, button, system, thread, and here variable demo, student, person, employee, vehicle, flying vehicle, moving vehicle. So these all are the names only. So to declare any class, we should use name only. And the name that the class name should be start from with uppercase, and if more than one word is containing, then each word's first character should be in uppercase. Okay. Use appropriate word instead of acronym. Acronym you should not use, because acronym will give sometime it will give confusion, because acronym can have may have what is that one, two same stands of two same word can be described from one acronym. So it should not be like that. If class name contain many words, then the first character of each word should be in uppercase. That we have already seen. Try to keep your class name simple and descriptive. Simple and descriptive means what? Suppose this class name we have given variable demo. From this one only you can understand what is the use of this class. Inside this class we are taking the demo of variables, how we can declare variable, what type of variables, like that only. We are declaring, we are doing that operations in our class. So that's why it is suggesting try to keep your class name simple and descriptive. Descriptive means name itself should describe the purpose of class. That is called a descriptive. Use whole word, avoid acronyms and abbreviations. Sometimes you will use acronyms, but if you think that acronym maybe give confliction sometime, or sometime that acronym may give ambiguity problem. In that case you should not use acronym. You should not use any abbreviation also. So this is the naming convention for class. Suppose examples are there: student, string builder, employee repository. These all are the names only. See, employee repository is made from two words, employee, another one is a repository. So first one R is making here in uppercase way. We are making R as uppercase. Here string builder, this is inbuilt class. So string is one word and builder is another word. Here if you see B is in uppercase. So this is the naming convention for class. Interface has the same naming convention whatever the class name has, because class and interface almost similar. Class is defines only the functionality without implementation, but in class functionality with implementation is both are there. So this is similar only. Interface, whatever the class naming convention is there, that only is used in interface only. So for method the naming convention is somewhat different. First thing, it should be a verb. Suppose here we are for the class name we are using nouns. But for method you should use verbs. Why verbs? Because methods are functions. are also called function. And what methods does it? Do some action, because method is nothing but the action. That can be action, can be anything. When user is clicking on some button, that is also an action. When you are giving some input to program, and then your program is triggering some other method, that is also an action. So action can be defined by verbs only. So that's why to define any method, use verb. Like this is set. Set means it is setting the value of max length. Set max length. Set max length. Get person, it is getting the value of person. And swipe to AVR and BVR. AVR is A variable, BVR is B variable. Swipe to AVR and BVR means what you understand from this method name. We have to swipe the value of variable AVR and the value of variable BVR. We have to swipe them. So that's why we have given in this way. This is a swipe, means swipe is a verb. So this is the first condition. This is the not condition. This is the first suggestion. The method name should be a verb. Should be a verb. It can have mixed case with the first letter lower. Yeah. In your verb also you can have a more than one word. There is also chances. So in that case, what you should use? It should be start with lowercase, and each word like this two is another word. So T is in uppercase. Now AVR is another word. A variable, that is another word. So A is in uppercase. Next one and is another word. So A is in uppercase. Next one is BVR, that is also another word. So B is in uppercase. So this is suggesting that only. It can have mixed case with first letter lowercase and the first letter of each internal word capitalized. For example, run is a verb. Obviously run is a verb. So you can give method in this way. Run fast, that is also a method, but it is containing two words. First one is run. For run, R is small because it should be start, because method should be start from lowercase. Run fast is another word, so that's why first letter should be in uppercase. And get background, this is background is another word, so get background, B is in uppercase and G is in small because it should start from lowercase. Okay, so this is the naming convention for method. For variable, what is the naming convention? Variable mixed case with the lowercase first letter, same convention that a method can have. But what is the difference? Because method is action, method is accepting some parameter. If no parameter, then empty body, empty header. By that you can differentiate. Variable internal word start with the capital letter. Suppose how, same thing. See, max length, max is another word, length is another word. Two words, these are two words. Max length variable is made from two words. First one is a max, another one is a length. Max M is a small and length L is in uppercase. So this is the recommended way of to declare a variable. Variable name should not start with underscore, dollar or symbol. Yeah, it should not be start. Even that is valid. Even it is valid. It can start from underscore also. It can start from dollar also. But that is not recommended way. You should not do that one. You should not do that one. Okay, or dollar character or both are allowed. Even though that are allowed, but you should not use. Variable name should be short yet meaningful. Yeah, it should be short. It should not be too long, like 20, 30, 40, 50 character. No, it should not be like that. It should be short. It should be short and it should be meaningful also, because from that variable name you should understand something. Yeah, we can understand something like that. You should give the name. So that should be short and that should be descriptive also. And the choice of variable name should be mnemonic that is designed to indicate the casual observer of intents of its use. Suppose what is this one? Intention. Why you are declared this variable? It is representing length of what? That will described by your class. Your class name also should be descriptive. Inside that class, suppose I am creating a class for page. Now page, what the property a page can have? Page can have height and width. So you can give like that, height, width. So from the height, width, what you will understand? Page height and width. So it should be like that. What is the intention? What is your intention to declare the variable? It should be descriptive only. It want to say your variable should be descriptive. Variable name should be descriptive. That's it. One character variable name should be avoided. One character variable name should not be there, except for temporary. Temporary is what? Temporary variable means that is used for sometimes. After that one, no use of that variable. If it is not temporary variable, then you should not use single character. One character you should not use. Suppose here we are not using one character, person, AVR, BVR, we are not creating here. But here if you see T, we are using here T. Why? Because this is a temporary variable. If it is a temporary variable, a common name for temporary variable is I, J, K, M, N. For integer, C, D and E for character, like that you can give. Single character you can give single character. For temporary variables you can give single character. That's it. So this is the recommended naming convention for variable. Examples are here like length, height, page size, total marks, x. X is representing temporary variable, that is type of integer only. Here you see integer type I, J, K, L, M, N for integer, C, D, E, F for character only. And length, this is representing a length of any, it could be anything. Page size, it can represent both height and width. It's up to your choice. Total marks, student total marks, like that it is representing, because from the name you can understand what exactly the purpose of that one. So this is the example of variables. Next one is a constant. What is constant? Constant values are not changeable, that cannot be changed, that will be remain same throughout the program and throughout the execution of program. So here is only one recommended way. Should contain all uppercase with words separated by underscore. Simple. Suppose max width, you see min width for max width 999, message hello world. So these all are the constants. For constant all should be in uppercase, for constant all should be in uppercase. This is the recommended naming convention for constant. All should be in uppercase. If more than one word is there for your variable, then each word you have to separate by underscore. If it is more than one word, if more than one word is there in your variable name, then you have to separate them by underscore for constant variable. So these are the some examples. So next one is variable. What is variable? The value of a variable that can be changed or that is changeable, called variable. Suppose variable are the container that hold data. Yeah, this is very important. What is variable? Variable is nothing but a container. It's like a container. Suppose if you have to take 1 liter of water, then where you will take that 1 liter of water? You have to take that 1 liter of water into some jug or bottle, or in some container only you have to take. 1 glass of milk, then milk, where you are putting milk? You are putting milk inside only glass. So that is the glass, your glass is a container for milk, something like that. So here for data variables are container. For data, variables are container, or we can say that variables are the container of data, or that variables are used to hold the data. That's it. Memory will be allocated for variable while executing the program, and definitely, because if it is a .java file or .class file, that will not acquire your memory. Your memory will be allocated inside JVM when you will run your program. So while running program, memory for variables will be allocated, and value of variable can be changed any times. This is the meaning of variable. Means the value of a variable or value of a container can be changed any time. That is called variable. Now syntax to declare a variable. How we can declare a variable? It's very easy. First you should define the data type. What type of data you want to hold. Same thing, how we have learned this data type in last session. What is data type? So all that points we have learned. So here you have to here you have to give data type. What type of data you want to hold, and variable name. What is variable name? Variable name is, we have already taken, see, identifier that can be that can identify the program's element, and there is a variable, and variable name like this one. This is the naming convention for that one. So you have to give variable name. So this is the syntax to declare a variable, and two types of variables are available. One is a primitive variables, another one is a reference variable. What is primitive variable? The variables that is declared with the primitive data type called primitive variable. What is primitive data type? We have already seen in the last session. And what is reference variable? Means that is for user defined data types. We have seen in the last session types of data type: primitive data type and user defined data type. User defined data type is nothing, reference data type. So primitive variables, that is the variables that are declared with the primitive data type called primitive variable, and the reference variable that is declared by the user defined data type. See, variable declared with the primitive data type called a primitive variable. For example, int x 0, int max length 127. So this is the example of primitive data type. Reference data type like student name ABCD, string name ABCD, student is equal to new student. So these are the reference variable, because this is the reference of user defined data type, because string is also user defined data type, student is also user defined data type. Here are some difference we have given between the primitive variables and reference variable. See, primitive variable declared with the primitive data types that we have already seen, and this is declared with user defined data type. Default value of a primitive variable depends on the type. Yeah, for suppose here this is int. For int, default value is 0. If it is a character, then default value is also 0, and if it is a boolean, then default value is false. So, and if it is a float or double, then default value is 0.0. So the default value for primitive variable depends on its type, and the default value of reference variable always will be null only, the default value. Memory allocation depends on the primitive variable type. Suppose this is the int, so int, it is taking 32 bits of memory. If it is a byte, then it will taking 8 bit of memory. If it is a short, then it will take a 16 bit of memory. So like that, but it will always for reference variable always 8 byte of memory will be allocated always. It hold the value, yeah, because for primitive, what is the value? 0, false, 0.0, a, etc. That is also called literals. And for this one, but for this one, what is the value? Value is reference of any object, reference of any other object. So here this is the two types of variables, and here the types of variable on the basis of scope. Scope means what is the use of what you understand from scope. Scope means where exactly the variable can be used, that is called scope. So from the scope of object perspective, three types of variables are available. One is instance variable, static variable, and local variable. Instance variable and static variable we have already seen in previous sessions. In the session of class and object, we have already seen this one. Instance variable and static variables are the member of a class. In that one we have already seen. So we will not discuss this instance variable and static variable. You can watch that session again, and you can revise that one. For local variable, what is local variable? Local variables declared inside the member of a class. Local variables are the variables that are declared inside the member of a class. Inside the member of a class means what? Like constructor, method, or block. That's called local variable. So here is one example. Suppose this is a class hello. Inside this class hello, int a is a instance variable. Static int b is a static variable, and int c is a local variable because int c is declared inside show method. This show is a method. From the name we can understand show. This is a verb, and what is the naming convention for method? Naming convention for method, it should be a verb. This is the first rule only. So this show is a method. Void, return type is a void. So this int c is a local variable here, that is declared inside a method. You can declare inside constructor also, or you can declare inside a member or block also, like static block or instance block. So that is also considered as a local variable only. So this is called variables. Okay, so let's see one example of variables in variable demo. See, so in variable demo, if you see here, max length, what type of variable it is? It is a primitive variable. It's a primitive variable. Why? Because the data type is byte. Because the variable is declared with the primitive data type, because byte is a primitive data type. So the variable is declared with the primitive data type are called primitive variable. So according to the types of variable, this is a primitive variable, and according to the scope of variable, this is a static variable. Why? Because it is declared with a static keyword, static variable, that we have already seen. And the next one is a person. This is another variable. What type of variable it is? This is a reference variable. Why? Because it is declared with the user defined data type, that is a person. So that's why this is a reference variable. And what type of variable according to the scope of variable? So this is also a static, because it is declared with a static keyword. So these both are the static variable. One is with primitive data type and one is with the user defined data type. So one is we can say that one is a primitive variable, another one is a reference variable. And here two variables we have defined that are also primitive, but that is according to the scope, that is an instance variable, that is meant for object only, that is meant for class only. Okay, so this is a primitive instance variable, and this is the reference instance variable, student. Because why? Because this is declared with a user defined data type and there is no static, so this is a reference instance variable. This is a method. Get max length. This is a method. We have already seen how we can what should be the name of method. It should be a verb. Get is a verb. So get max length. This is a method. Get set max length. This is also a method. But see, this method is a what type? Static, because it is accessing only the static variable. to access any static variable, you should use static methods only. This is also static member, this is also static member, this is also member, static member, this is also static member of a class. Okay, so this is returning get person, it is returning person, set person, get variable. These all are the methods. These all are the methods. Yeah, swipe to. This is also a method that will swipe to do swipe value of a and b. Okay, so now I will run this one, variable demo main, yes, this one, and you will see the output. Nothing much changes. Output doesn't matter, we have to understand only what exactly the variable. Okay, see, static block and person, that inside a person block, static and instance blocks are there, so they are executing first, that we have already seen. Max length 20, then yeah, so here length by default, what is the value of max length? 20. After that one I am setting, see here I am typecasting also, that we will see what is the typecasting, why we need to typecasting, we will see that later. So here, sorry, let me run once again. So here we are setting 50, after again I am printing max length, so now it is 50. Here directly because why I am not creating here object, because that are the statics only, these variables are static, so this method are also static. So using that method I am using get set, I am using some getter or setter method, static getter or setter method. So that's why I am not creating any object, I am directly with the class name dot method name or variable name I am accessing in that way. And yeah, we are printing again, so okay, next time it is a 50. Here we are printing as person, so print person, this is the person to string method is, we have not overridden, so it is coming in this way. Now we have created variable demo object, we have created here, and inside that one first I am setting the variable, set a variable value of a variable 7 and b variable value 3, and I am printing the same. So 7 and 3. Then I am swapping, I am calling the swapping method, swap to AVR and BVR. In that case, the value of A will be assigned to value of B, and the value of B will be assigned into the value of A. That's it. Inside the variable A, value of variable A will be assigned to variable B, and the value of variable B will be assigned to variable A. So this is the use of swap method here. Okay, and the last one is constant. What is constant? Constant means constant are also variables only, but the value of constant cannot be modified during the program execution. Suppose you have created one variable and you don't want to change that value in any case, even by intentionally also, if you want to change, you cannot change, you have to declare variable in that way. So that is called constant. Constant means not changeable, that if something is not changeable, that you can say that is constant. If something is changeable, then you can say variable. So constant means the value of a variable that will not be changed or will not be modified in any case, so that is called constant. Constant are also called a final variable. Yeah, in Java you can say final variable. What is the meaning of final? Final means final, nothing after that one. If you declared variable as a 3, then value is 3 only, that's it. After program start executing, you cannot change that value. So this is called a final variable. Constants variable must be initialized. Yeah, definitely that should be initialized. If you are skipping initialization, then your compiler will give error. You have to initialize. A variable declared as a final but not initialized called blank final variable. Yeah, blank final variable. If you have declared a variable as a final but you have not initialized that one, in that case that is a blank final variable. Here is some syntax. Here you have to use modifier. What is modifier? Where you can use that one. where you can access that one, that is defined by modifier. And final is a keyword that you have to use to declare any constant. Data type, we have already seen what is data type, and we have to give what type of data we want to declare, and what will be the variable name, and what will be the value of that one. Suppose example, public final string application name, my application, like that. This is the name of my application variable you have to define. Along with that, some other use is also there for final. One use of final keyword, this is keyword only. One use of final keyword, you can declare any variable as a final if you don't want to change that value. So other use is also there. You can use final with class name, you can use final with method name, and you can use final with variable name. Variable name we have already seen, this is constant. To make any variable constant, we can use final keyword. So we can say that if final is used, if final keyword is used with variable name, then the variable cannot be modified. If final keyword is used with method name, then the method cannot be override. Override means what? What is the meaning of override? Override means if you extended the class, and in the subclass, if you want to override that one, if you want to change the implementation, that you cannot do. Changing the implementation means you want to modify. Simple. Changing the method implementation by overriding means modifying the method's behavior, modifying the method action, and you cannot do that one because the method you have declared as a final. In the same case, if you declare class as a final, then what will happen? You cannot inherit that class. Why you want to inherit the class? Because you want to modify the behavior of class, or you want to add some extra feature into that class. That's why you are inheriting. So final is restricting. You cannot modify the variable, you cannot modify the class, you cannot modify the method behavior. So that's why if you want to use final, you can use like string is already one class that is in lang package, that is final. You cannot override that one, you cannot inherit that class, and you cannot change the behavior. So this is called final, and this is constant. So we will see one example of constant also. So yeah, this is constant demo, this is constant main. Okay, suppose this is constant demo. We have declared here, we have declared one constant variable, application name, my application. Here if you see, we are declaring here. What if I will not give this one? Your compiler will give error. Why? Because what I am saying here, a variable declared as final, a constant variable must be initialized. We are saying here constant variable must be initialized, it is a must, you have to initialize that one. So in that case we are not initializing here, so we have to initialize. And how we can initialize? Either we can initialize into this static instance block. Yeah, you can do that also. Inside instance block you can initialize, no issue. My application, yeah, that is also possible. It's fine because you are initializing. Our condition is this only, constant variable must be initialized. It's a must. You have to. You cannot left that as a blank. This is one way you can initialize inside instance. Why inside instance block? You can initialize the constant variable inside instance block. Why? Because this variable is defined as instance variable, so you can initialize inside instance block. or you can initialize inside constructor, no issue. What is constructor? This is constructor, this is constructor. That is also fine, that's also fine, because to create this object class definitely you have to call constructor only. So while calling constructor you can initialize, that is also fine, but you have to initialize, definitely you have to initialize. So this is, if I run this one, and you will see the output, yeah, my application only. So this is a this is instance final variable. What if it is a static? What if it is a static? Then you cannot initialize inside constructor. You cannot initialize inside constructor. Sorry, you cannot initialize inside constructor, because for static variable, because static variable is related to class only. It's not mandatory that you have to create object for that one. It's not mandatory. You can access with class name only. So you cannot initialize inside constructor, because constructor is used to create object only. Constructor is used to create object only, but the static variable is not related to object. Then why will you create object? You will not create object, because this is a static, it's not related to object, and if you don't create object, then where you will initialize this one? So you have to initialize. Either you can initialize in the same statement, or you can initialize inside static block. That is also fine. That is also fine. That is also fine. Yeah, you can initialize inside static block, or you can initialize in the same statement, but you have to initialize. Constant variable in Java you have to initialize. Okay, so this is all about constant and the use of final. The three use also is there for final. Here we have used final, no? So final has three use. If a class is if you use final with class name, then class name cannot be, that class cannot be inherited. If you use final keyword with method name, then the method cannot be overridden, if a final keyword is used with variable name, that variable cannot be modified. Means you can say in one word, final is used to restrict the modification of class, method or variable. That's it. Okay, so this is all about identifier, variable and constants. Okay, so in the previous session we missed one thing. What is that? Here if you see this diagram, we have used one word, literals. What is literal? Literals are nothing but the value of primitive variable called literal. What is literal? See, here we said no, it hold the value such as 0, false, 0.0, a, etc., also called a literal. So we can say that the value of primitive variables are literal. And literal some different types of, we have seen some literals, like we have assigned some values, but not that one. Other than that, some other literals are also there. So we will see here, we will see that also here. So yeah, literal demo, it will not take much time. So sorry, so this is the literal for integer. Yeah, one is integer data type, integer. It's not like that it is integer, you can give this this one as a byte also. That is up to your choice. That is not an issue. See, you can give for byte also, but I am taking integer because that is only taking the numbers only. No, that is taking number only. Number size is different, number length is differ, but type data is same only. Okay, so this is 86. What is 86? 86 is literal for integer variable a. This is for integer variable a, literal is 86, and integer variable b, literal is 0b10101110. What is this one? This is a binary number. Inside for variable b we are assigning some value that is literal, but that literal is a type of binary. That is also valid. Third one is a octal. Number, and fourth one is hexadecimal number. So for any numerical data type, in Java, you can give literal as binary number, decimal number, octal number, or hexadecimal number. You can give that one. So exactly the value, this is also 86, this is 86 only, this is also 86, this is also 86, but this is in hexadecimal, this is in octal, this is in binary, this is in decimal. Okay, and we are just printing here. For character, that we have already seen, this is a K, this is Hindi K, this is K, this is printing here. For string also the same only, name is Bharat, this is also Bharat, matra rehta. Okay, this is we have already seen, and this is true or false, that also we have seen. This is also literal for boolean, this is the literal for float value, this is fine. And see, here we can give exponential power also. What is the meaning of this exponential? After see, this 1.5 is there, so your point will be shifted to right hand side after 3 digit. It will be moved, and if you give -3, then your point will be moved to left hand side before 3 digits. So this is the use of exponential. You can use like that also. If I run this one, and you will see the exact output. See first we are printing value of a, b and c, d. We are printing the value of a, b, c and d. A, b, c and d, 86 only, all are 86 only, but this first one is in form of decimal, second one is in form of binary, third one is in form of octal, and the fourth one is in form of hexadecimal number, and we are printing the same. Next one is a K and K, that is fine, that is in Hindi. First one is in Hindi, first one is in English, second one is in Hindi, and this is we are printing. And this is also the first string is in English, second one is in Hindi, and true and false, that is the default literal for boolean. False is the default value, true we are assigning, and this one is a floating point. See, for floating, if you see 1500, so after dot it is keeping your dot is shifting on 3 decimal place to right hand side. If we are giving exponential power +3, if you are giving -3, then it will be shifted to left side 3 digits. Okay, so this is all about literals. Okay, so yeah, that's for today only. So in the next session we will see modifier. What is modifier? Why we need modifier? So that we will see in the next session. So I hope you like this session. Please subscribe my channel, and thanks for watching. I will see you in next video. Till that, bye bye.